right, everybody. Welcome to the show. Tennessee Wildcast, the weekly podcast of the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Jason Harmon over here. I'm Doug Markham.
Yeah. How's it going, Doug?
Yeah, I'm good. I like giving stuff away.
Yeah, we had a great week last week on our shares on Facebook. People were wearing it out.
They were, and we're going to do some more of that. We'll give it a break this week, but we're going to give away some more stuff. And I noticed last week I said we'll give away hats when we get them, and of course you're wearing one. It's like, well, don't y'all have them?
Not yet. This is a demo or a test run they sent us, so we'll have them in before too long.
And we'll give some winners away. But we had a lot of winners last week. Thank you for sharing our show out on Facebook. This show is all about Tennessee, about what you like to do through the Wildlife Agency. Got a good show for you today. Archery season's beginning, and we'll introduce our guest in a minute, but we got one in here that knows archery, how to spell it backwards without thinking. He just...
I'd like to see if he can do that.
We'll try that in just a minute.
Okay. Oh, wow.
But anyway, we're going to talk...
a piece of paper and try it.
We're going to talk a lot of archery today and get y'all fired up, and archery safety tips and archery hunting, just general, and where to go archery hunting, all kinds of stuff.
But first, we want to announce these winners, right? The folks that shared our Facebook or shared our show on Facebook, and we appreciate y'all for doing that. But these are the winners we chose. We chose 5 people this week. We had 141 shares, I think it was, and we got 5 winners. So Mr. Mike Myers from Tracy City, Miss Lacey Lane from Nashville, Jim Kofer from Seymour, David Young from Goodlettsville, Tennessee, and Tim Jennings from Decatur, Tennessee. So
good, from all over the place.
All over the place.
I like that, and because the show's all about Tennessee, wherever you are, and our guests are usually TWRA people, but we'll drag some folks in here from time to time outside the agency. Mm-hmm. And we got good sportsmen. You'll see in a minute when we talk to Don over here in a little bit. And let's go ahead and wind out and show Don.
Yeah. We gave it away, Mr. Don Crawford.
Don Crawford.
Okay.
Anyway, Don is the Assistant Chief of Information and Education. That's a long title. Don's worked a long time in hunter education and over in the Crawford area for a long time. Came to Nashville and took that job. And before that, what'd you do, Don? Before you were over in Region 3 as the hunter education guy?
Before I did that, I worked as an officer there in Crawford and Cumberland County for years. But I first started out as an officer in Carter County in Elizabethton. I started there. I was about a year and a half in 1987. Then I came to Crawford, worked as an officer for about 8 or 9 years. Then I took over the hunter ed program there in Region 3. Moved to Nashville, took over the hunter ed
education
program.
Yep, skipped you out right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I stepped up and took another promotion, supposedly, to the information education chief. I don't know if that was or not. I don't know. We'll find out.
There was that pretty good little period where you were hunter education. So he's a hunter education man, and Don,
many years.
You do good at everything you do. So we appreciate you coming in here today. And I guess for some reason, and we're going to get into some various stuff here, but I guess archery for some reason is a passion of yours from way back.
It's always been a passion of mine. I've always loved archery, and I've had great opportunities to do lots of stuff with it, and I still love it. And I guess the best thing I like to do, I like to just pass it on to other people, to teach people and show people how it works. And that's kind of how I got into what I'm doing right now, a lot of my job now.
And a lot of folks, I don't expect a whole bunch of grade school kids are watching the show, but a lot of the parents could be. And if you're not, I hope you get your kids involved in it, because the folks that are watching know Don from archery in the schools, because he has helped introduce thousands. I'm not hundreds, thousands and thousands of kids to archery shooting. Whether they go on and hunt or not, maybe not, but they're getting outside. And that's what's important, Don, and you've done a great job getting those kids outside archeries in the school. Stay with us, because later in the show we're going to talk about how folks can get involved in it.
Sure.
Let's talk about deer season first.
All right. Yeah, that's coming up this weekend.
This weekend, are you going?
I'm not.
No?
No, I got chores around the house. I got a honey-do list this week.
You're waiting on a muzzleloader season,
I'm waiting
aren't
on
you?
muzzleloader mostly, yeah. But,
all right, I'm sure Don's going. Or are you, Don? Are you working it maybe? Or
no, we're going. Yeah,
right.
It's going to be hot.
Yeah,
but we're going to hunt. We're going to hunt for a little while. Yeah, we're going to go.
Before we get into this week's deer season, I had somebody on Facebook the other day, and you know how Facebook is. They're going to there's people are going to come on there and say anything. But one of them said, "Hey, y'all need to put the season back another month." Probably not ever going to happen, but do you get those kind of comments because of the way it's so hot sometimes in September?
Some people do that, yeah, but I think it's good where it is. It's been there for, I've been here 28 years now with the agency. It's been that way always. To me, I think like the middle of October is the best. Give it a couple more weeks. It's just a little hot this year. It's just one of those years. It's just that. It's just
I think if we moved it, that one comment would go to about 10,000, and people really mad.
Yeah,
would be mad if we moved archery season.
Yeah.
Last year.
Well, the commission added 2 weeks at the end of the year last year for Unadale hunters.
That's correct.
So that gives a few people an extra opportunity.
Yeah, and if you want cold, there it is.
There it is. Yeah,
there it
January's
is. Right
cold.
there, Ted. Last year, I'm not going to say this is the exact number. I just went on our site and went through most of the end of October with archery season starting in September. We harvested 16,388 deer, give or take, during the archery season. So that's pretty good, Don. And suggestions on the deer season coming up as far as tips on this early hot part of the year?
I think to me the best thing I think is you just got to hunt real early and real late. I think they're not going to be moving around much. Now there is a little bit of mass. Depends on where you're at. Now there's a little bit of acorns. If you've got plants in your field or whatever. I think it's just real early right now. Real early in the morning, first 2-3 hours. Get in there and get out. The last little bit there in the last afternoon, bit.
Archery hunters this time of year, Don, I know there's a time of year you hunt the rut and some of the years you hunt their stomach. What is this a time of year where you're really more about food with deer than anything else?
Yeah, this is food right now. Yeah, they just most of them there should be no velvet on the antlers. You already rub that off. So you can find rubs. You can find where they're going to be, but right now it's just food. It's all food right now.
Is it too early to do the acorn thing, or will hunters go find acorn trees this time of year?
There's some acorns out there. We was playing golf at Montgomery Bell last Saturday, and on number 18 there was 10 deer standing down there under 2 or 3 acorn tree. They were just chomping. They were just chowing down on them. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
So there's some out there.
Probably fired you up a little bit.
Yeah, it got a little fired up.
All right. Is it a better time? The archery season, they have the longest season as far as one specific tool goes for hunting, right?
Yep.
They have the longest season, and then you can use archery all year, whether it's muzzle loader or gun, if you want to keep doing it. The early archery season, is it a chance to go out there and get the biggest bucks that you can get all year, or is it just an opportunity to get out with something that's a little more primitive than the other tools that we use later to hunt with?
It's a good opportunity to harvest a big one, but I think the main thing I like to use it more for is to scout, like from right before the rut starts. I think that's where you'll see a lot of deer. You'll see a lot of deer in archery. You'll see a whole lot more deer in archery. But I think it's more of a scouting tool, and also it's a good opportunity, to put one in the freezer. Go ahead and get one, put it in the freezer. Gets a little bit of deer meat. But I think it's more of a scouting tool. That's my opinion.
Okay, and let us remind them, Jason. We're trying to do this every week. Remind you about the new antlerless law. Remember, if you're out there with that archery equipment and you see an animal that you used to have an antler that was 3 inches long, you might want to hold off on shooting that thing, because now if that antler breaks the hairline, it protrudes above the hairline, then it's considered an antlered animal, or a buck in my world, but an antlered animal is what we're calling them now, just because we want to get the confusion down. So, Don, you're going to be more careful out there?
Oh, yeah. I think everybody's going to be a lot more careful this year. I hope so. They're going to be a lot more careful because, man, like I said, you're only allowed 2 a year. If you make that mistake. But the good thing with archery, the deer has to be a whole lot closer than if you're hunting with a muzzleloader or a rifle. And so
good point.
The opportunity to see that, to observe it and say, okay, that's a buck now.
Got a little more foliage, though.
Yeah.
So, but and I know you teach, and we're going to get to hunter education in a minute, too, but while we're there, because of the foliage, more than ever, make sure you identify the critter you're aiming at, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Make sure you know what you're shooting at.
It's not worth doing otherwise. You like to take a doe this time of year?
I do. Yeah, I think it's a perfect opportunity. I do. I do. I like to just go ahead and take one and be done with it. And if I'm going to shoot a buck, he's going to have to be pretty good.
Okay.
Right now.
All right. Any other tips you want to give them? I'm going to talk about turkey here in a second, but any tips as far as we're going to get to the safety stuff?
Yeah, we'll get to safe stuff in a little while. Right
okay.
Now. Yeah,
so hunt their stomach, hunt acorns if you can find them. Food plots, or is it
food plot? Yeah. Food plots are good right now. There's lots of a lot of people have. If you got corn or you got milo, whatever. It's still good right now. It's still really good. Deer are coming into it. Soybeans, they're coming into them right now. They're eating them. Yeah, it's good right now.
And hunt early or late.
Yeah, hunt real early or hunt real late.
Yeah, that would be no problem right
That's
now.
right. That's right.
Don't hunt at noon. It's going to be like 90 degrees.
That's right.
Degrees. All right. Turkey. We can also, or the guys that are hunting can also take a turkey during this. Will you take advantage of that? You can get archery-only hunters get one bird. And once you get that one bird, even when the gun hunt starts later, you're done. That's the way I understand that.
That's true. Well, I understood it, yes.
Yeah. So you're done. So think about it. Have you ever taken one in archery season? And would you?
Yeah, we've taken some. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes, for sure. I try to stay away from the hens. I try to just take either the gobblers or the young jakes. I try not to take the hens because I know the hens lay the eggs. That's just kind of, I guess, my theory.
That's your theory, and I think a lot of people go by it. But it is either sex if you want to, right?
Sure is.
But a lot of people are philosophical and maybe getting more so with stuff that's going on across the state.
Definitely.
Right now. But you can take your one bird if the opportunity arises. And I wonder if there's even a few folks that just go turkey hunting on that day.
There probably is, yeah. Especially this time of year. Also, you're going to see that most of them, the males are together now. Most and all the the females will be together. Yeah. So it's either going to be one or the other. What you're going to see most of the time.
Do the reverse thing. Oh, I'm going turkey hunting, but if a deer walks in front of me,
that's right.
If it walks out
a little
there.
reverse psychology
That's
there.
Right, yeah.
All right. Good deal. Ranges. We want to talk about. Excuse me. The ranges that we have in Tennessee where you can go practice. We got a bunch of them. Two different ranges. Let's talk about this range first. This is just a reminder Jason's throwing up for me to remember there was a new rule that passed the other day by our commission. And if you are a licensed hunter in Tennessee, you can go to what we call Tier 1 ranges.
Unmanned.
They're
ranges.
unmanned. They don't have any amenities very much on them. They're just ranges, which are great. And you don't have to pay that $5.50 fee anymore.
Right.
Okay, so it's Tier 1. There's a release out on the TWA website. It's also on our Facebook page where you can read about it. But in the guide where it discusses firing ranges, just look for Tier 1, TIER 1, and those are the ranges you can go to. So these photographs for art, but I'll tell you right now, that's not a Tier 1. That's Stones River. That one would still cost you some money. But
not bad, though.
No. They're inexpensive, I think. But Cheatham in Middle Tennessee comes to mind. Catoosa has them over there. Don, where you used to be, that would be considered Tier 1. But there's probably 10 of them or so across the state.
Yeah.
I think Unali's one.
Unali is one for sure.
Down there towards Columbia.
That's one where you just go sight in a hunting rifle, but it's definitely one. Cheatham's one in Ashland City.
Oh, definitely.
And then we got several.
Now, are most of these rifle only?
No, some of them I think you can also take some other firearms over with them if you want to. Yeah, but Unali would be. It's a hunting rifle situation. Only open a small during the hunting seasons and right before it opens. Right. Some of the others, you can shoot other firearms at them. But again, check the guide to make sure which is which. Okay. Yep. Let's talk about those other ranges.
Archery ranges, yeah.
Yeah, Don helped, I think, put this one together a lot. This is one that's in right here in Middle Tennessee, over near Franklin and Cool Springs. It's a range that was built a few years ago. Don, tell us about that, and then our ranges similar to this available across the state.
Okay. Yeah, this one we built. It's right there by the Williamson County Ag Expo, right off I-65, and it has 10 different targets on it, and we just kind of built this one to see what if we get a little bit of help on it and see what kind. But I mean, it's been a great range. It's got more use than I thought it'd ever get.
Yeah, and open all the time, right?
It's open all around.
Walk up to it and start shooting.
Drive up and walk up and start shooting. We got from anywhere from 15 yards, you can shoot to 60 yards with it. We just put new targets on it last week, so I mean it's good to go. I mean it's a great range, and we're trying to look at expanding a little bit on it. Maybe the next year or so, we're going to try to do a little bit more expansion on it because I mean the use of this thing is it's amazing.
All right, and anyone can use it. If you're driving through Nashville and you
free.
Want to bring your gear with you, come on and
use
it. But there are ranges similar to this over much of the state. I can think of, Don and I were talking before the show started, 5 or 6 just in Middle Tennessee, and not all owned by TWRA or operated by us, but other folks where the ranges are open to the public.
And the Stones River has a range, or an archery range, yeah.
It does have a range
as well.
You go out there and use. So just do a little bit of homework and we got a long way to go in archery season. You got all the way to the end of October before the youth hunt starts. Right at the end of October, the first couple of days in November, somewhere in there.
Yep.
So, and the bag limits are listed in our guides, by the way. Look at the bag limits and the units where you are for doe that you might be hunting and all of that stuff. So, all right, let's talk a little bit about tree stands, Don.
Okay.
And we want to make sure these kids and everybody's safe getting in tree stands. It seems like every year. I was telling Randy Husky a few weeks ago when he was on. I don't like to tell Randy anything because he knows stats, but how I remember a few years ago, 2 or 3 young guys in their 20s falling out of tree stands and getting paralyzed all in the same year. And it was awful. It was an awful time. Archery hunting can be fun. It's more people are safe than not safe, but there seems like there's always somebody that will fall out of a tree stand and hurt themselves real bad.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you tell them?
Well, I mean, normally with Tennessee, we'll have anywhere between, we'll average about 20, 21 hunt incidents a year, and half of those will be tree stand accidents.
More than people getting shot and all that stuff.
It's about half. It's about half. Yeah. And the main problem is the main deal is they're not using a safety harness. That's the main problem. And the safety harness, people think it's too bundlesome. It's too cumbersome. Takes too much time. It's probably going to take you another 5 or so minutes. To get yourself up the tree if you're going to do it correctly. That's what they're thinking. But most accidents happen, especially with climbing tree stands, happen either going up or coming down.
Not in the stand as much.
Right, not as much in the stand. Now, ladder stands is a different ball game. That's everybody thinks ladder stand is the safest thing out there, and it's very safe. But there's some really good things you can do with that. With those. Usually they give you one strap to put on the tree stand. I suggest you put 2. Because if one of them breaks, you're pretty much done. You're done. Yeah. And one thing with tree stand accidents, if you fall, it's not like you're going to just most of the time it's a really serious injury. And
even from a small, if you're 8 or 10 feet up, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because most average people are between 12 to 15 feet tall, up there in the tree. It doesn't sound like much, but when you fall, you go to hit the fall, it's going to be, it's going to hurt. Seriously.
That's a question I had. Does the agency, when y'all teach hunter education, do you say there's a certain height that's as high as you need to be a hunter deer? Or, I've heard people say they hunt 30 and 40 feet high. I'm thinking, why? Yeah,
there's no certain height. A lot of it depends on the terrain you're hunting in. Some people think you got to get way up to get your scent out of the way. But they got some of these scents out there now. You can put little stuff on you and get that out of the way. But a lot of it just depends on the person's,
how high do you go?
The preference. Me, I'm 15, 16 foot. I'm not going to go very far.
I guess if you got a ridge across the way there, you're going to have, the deer might see you coming across the ridge, so you got to be careful where you put this tree stand.
Yeah, you got to be careful where you're looking at and what you're doing, But most of the time, then people complain, the safety harness is going to cost me $150, $200. I said, well, yeah, it's going to cost you that. If you fall off the tree, it's going to cost you a whole lot more than that, to fix your leg or put you in a wheelchair. Because most accidents are serious. Usually you don't just get up and walk off. You're going to hurt yourself really bad, and it's going to cost you a whole lot more than $200. I promise you that.
And maybe a lifetime
That's right.
being disabled, which is awful.
Exactly.
I do remember, I guess maybe 3 years ago, we had 2 accidents in a day, and one didn't have on a harness and got hurt pretty bad, and one did and hung from a tree for a couple hours, but he was okay.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little embarrassed. But
That's right.
Somehow managed to get people come and rescue him, and his life saved. You got a harness and a safety stuff with us. Let's try to show them as best we can.
Okay.
And Don, are some of them, they get there before it's daylight and they think it's just burdensome and they don't want to do it?
That's what they think, but what you can do nowadays, with the new ones they have nowadays, what you can do, what you do nowadays, the new ones they got now, you can put this on before you leave the cabin or leave your truck. This is just, make sure it's a 4-point harness. That's the main thing. You got it over your shoulders. You got it between your legs. But now they got vests. It's just, they got some of them just like putting on a vest.
And you can replace that for your Blaze Orange. They've got Blaze Orange vests with it built in.
Yeah, you just snap.
Really?
You just snap the vest on, just like you put it over top of your jacket. You put it on, you're good to go. Takes you less than it's like putting on a jacket.
Yeah,
it's no big deal.
There's no reason not to have it.
No.
Is it the law? Do you have to have it on?
You don't have to. No. But it would be nice if it was one, but it's not a law.
Okay, it's just common sense, right?
It's common sense.
Use that good stuff
so
God gave you.
Can we talk about, once the harness is on, what do you do on the tree? Do you strap the harness around the tree? Is there a rope that you attach to? Just explain that a little bit.
There's a rope. There's all kinds of different ones out there on the market now, but this rope here would go around the tree. Like this is the loop, go around the tree, and then as you climb up, you just move the rope up, and you've got attached to. You've got a seat. I got a clamp that clamps to here.
Right.
And as you climb through, you just keep moving the
rope up.
Yeah. That way you're attached from when you get on, from when you start to finish. You're attached to the
tree
whole time. Yeah.
And I don't know that we have something on our website that shows how it works, but I promise you go out on YouTube or whatever your favorite thing is on the internet, you'll find so many demonstrations out there and how easy it is.
And these companies that produce these, I mean, they got safety videos and how-tos for their products,
Absolutely. They want you to be safe with them. And what is this? Did we say already?
No, this is probably the most important thing. It's called a haul line, because when you get ready to go
up here, Don.
Okay, when you get ready to go up, in your tree, you don't want to carry your bow with you. You don't want to carry your gun with you or your backpack. You just want yourself. So you attach it to the haul line, and once you get up there, then you just pull it up the tree. The same thing when you get ready to get down, you let it down on the ground.
And keep that gun unloaded, right?
Gun's got to be unloaded,
and
yes.
If you mess up and keep it loaded, make sure that muzzle's pointed in a safe direction when you're pulling it up the tree.
Exactly. What about? Exactly. I've heard people say they've almost fell on their arrows. What about that? What's the safe way to haul it up, haul everything up,
haul it all
quiver
up.
Everything?
Yeah, quiver and everything. Yeah, everything just like that. But a lot of people now, crossbows are really popular now. Okay, so crossbow, you got it up there and you got it loaded. So the best thing to do, what I always do, I hunted with some crossbows a few times, is I take an old arrow with me, okay, and I put it, when I replace that arrow, I'll shoot it into the ground. Then my bow's unloaded, I let it down, all the arrows, go down there and get the old arrow. Then I'm good to go. My bow's unloaded, I don't have to worry about it no more.
Good tip.
That's a real good tip.
That's a nice tip. Yeah. All right. And speaking of, since you mentioned it, wasn't even in my head, crossbow. You say it's gotten pretty popular, introduced in Tennessee, or allowed a decade, give or take a few years back. People are really liking them.
Oh, they like them. Yeah. The beauty of them is, it doesn't take as much practice. Everybody's time constraint is the problem today. And with a crossbow, it doesn't take as much practice as it does with a compound. You can pretty much take the businessman or whoever. It doesn't really have to be a businessman. You can take him, take a crossbow, once it's sighted in, it's good to go. You can go in there and pick it up and walk out the door. But you don't have to shoot it very often, not like you do a compound bow, So that's the beauty of the crossbow, I think, But, everybody thinks it's like a rifle. Yeah, it shoots very accurate to about 40 yards, and that's it. That's about the max.
Don't think you're going out there shooting 100 yards.
No, you ain't no crossbow. A compound bow, outshoot a crossbow any day, distance-wise.
Yeah.
And then you got the scope option, too, on the crossbow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet now.
What do you, on your compound bow, what do you tell students relatively, what a practical shot is without being ridiculous? 30 yards, 40, 50?
My range is 40. I'm not going to do anything else. But I know some guys that are really, really good. They're really good. They're like 50 yards or something. But, in the woods, that's a long shot, especially now, with, like I said, all the leaves and all the limbs and everything. You got to be really careful with that. But I still like that 40 yards. 40 yards or in, that's where I like it. I'm not going to go any further than that.
Okay, just let them walk.
I'll let them walk.
You may save them for another day. What
That's
about
right.
you? 10 yards, 15, 12?
Yeah, more like 5 or 6.
That's right. Closer the better. That's right. Obviously.
Put a rope on him and bring him
That's
over.
why I'm waiting on muzzleloader season. Or give me a crossbow. Maybe
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, well, work to your strengths, all right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about NASP.
Yes.
Because this is Don's baby. And NASP is the acronym for Archery in the Schools, National Archery in the Schools. And Tennessee does very well on the state level and the national level.
Yeah.
And in large part it's because Don and how hard he and others have worked on the program. Don, tell us what NASP is, and then we'll tell parents out there, and maybe we even have a teacher or a principal watching, how they can get their school or kids involved.
Okay. The National Archery School Program, it started in 2002 in Kentucky. We started it in Tennessee in 2004. And we've got right now about a little over 350 schools in the program across the state.
Outstanding.
Pretty good. We reach about 41,000 kids a year through the program that go take it. What NASP is, it's an archery program that teaches international style archery, bullseye archery, and it's from 4th grade to 12th grade is what it is. That's who can compete. It's taught in school during school hours, so every kid gets a chance to try it. And now most of it is taught during PE class. Most PE teachers teach it. And the curriculum does have language arts, it has history, it has math. So I got a few extra different kinds of teachers teaching it, but the majority of them are PE teachers that are teaching the program. Yeah.
And well accepted, obviously, by these schools.
Oh yeah.
Do you get contacted by the schools, or do you contact the schools, or both?
Usually I get contacted by the schools. Usually it's like word of mouth, or they see it. They see it on our website, or they've heard it. There's a school next to them that's got the program. That's usually how it comes about. Yeah.
And these kids, we always hear us saying not every kid's endowed to play football or basketball or baseball, and I guess that's true. But I bet there's some kids on there that are athletic that want to be archery shooters. It's a chance for everybody to find out how good that hand-eye is. Just have a good time. Who cares?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's usually what you're reaching. Like I said, not every kid can throw the football, 50 yards. Not every girl can, flip from one end of the gym to the other end of the gym. They can't dunk the basketball, But that's what we seem to find. We're starting to get that other kid and starting to get them involved. Because if you look at the dropout rate in school, most of the dropout rate is the kids will say they weren't involved or they weren't connected to anything. So this is the new kid or student we're getting, and we're taking them and bringing them into archery, and it's been phenomenal at some of the testimonials we've been getting from some of the teachers, and this is a national program, international program. There's 47 of the 50 states are in the program, and it's in about 12 different countries. So, it's not just some little small thing, but it's, there's a whole lot of people in this program.
Go to Murfreesboro, win the state championship, and you'll see it's not small at all.
That's right.
And there's a lot of kids that are learning that they, regardless of whether they ever become the best on their, who cares really, but there are some kids out there that are learning they have a talent for it. Just like you learn you have a talent in anything else. Some have really good hand-eye, and we do pretty well, I think, in the state championships.
Oh yeah, we're doing good. Yeah, this year was our biggest year. We had right at 2,000 kids this year come to our state tournament, most we ever had. We've been having some really good showings, at the national tournament, which is always that Mother's Day weekend in May, in Louisville, Kentucky. This year they had almost 14,000 kids show up this year, and they had over $100,000 worth of college scholarships. And this year is going to be our very first year to offer a college scholarship to the top male and the top female.
That's awesome.
In the state tournament?
And when you say us, who's offering it?
Our agency is going to put up some money, and then NASP is going to match that money. Yeah, National Arts School, they're going to match what we put in.
Wherever it's being offered, they can use it toward that scholarship.
They can awesome. Take it and go to any college they want to go to. Doesn't matter. They can have a major in anything they want to major in. Doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. So the scholarship is you win a scholarship because you performed well, but not necessarily to go shoot at the college.
Right.
Just pick your college, and we'll help you pay for whatever.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Hit on some of the equipment. I know these bows aren't your normal compound bows. Hit on what kind of stuff they use for this.
Now, what they're using is it's called a Genesis compound bow, and the big difference is this bow anybody can shoot this bow. The big thing about this bow, it goes up to 20 pounds. It'll go down to somewhere around 10 pounds is about the least it'll do, but it has a universal draw length. So, a fourth grader who's, a little short, he can pick it up and pull it back and shoot it, and you can hand it to the biggest football player on the team that wants to shoot as a senior. He can use the same bow. So that's the beauty of it. Everybody uses the same arrow. It's an aluminum arrow. It's made by Easton. It's a 30-inch arrow. No matter what it is, everybody's using the same arrow.
And the point on it?
The point on it's just a regular field tip point. Okay. There's nothing fancy about it. And there's 3 different targets out there on the market that they can pick. And everybody's shooting the same. It's a 80-centimeter feeded target, which is what they use in the international style, and also what they use also in the Olympics.
Cool.
I had more questions.
You're running out of time.
I had more questions. Hey, there is one big question, Don. Contact information. If a teacher, a principal, a kid wants to get their school involved, how do they find you?
They can call me at 615-781-6542, or they get on the website and go to the education section, click on NASP, and they'll see my email.
Okay. All right. tnwildlife.org.
Yeah, and make sure you check out the Hunter Ed classes out there on tnwildlife.org as well.
Okay, we'll get Don back. maybe just do a whole show on NASP. Okay, Don, thank you for everything.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you for coming
Don.
in. Thank all of y'all. Thank you for sharing last week.
Yeah, if you can find this show everywhere, tnwildlife.org. You can watch, listen from there, download on iTunes, watch on TWRA TV. It's just out there everywhere. So keep watching, and thanks for being with us this week.
We'll see you next week. Todd's over here.